Hey everyone, it's Rita here. I've got Jo from Additive Free Lifestyle with me, and she's just been here doing an amazing workshop teaching a stack of people about Additive Free Lifestyle, and I wanted to have a chat with her and hopefully inspire you guys with her story about how maybe you might want to start questioning some of the things that are just normal for you and how that could actually improve your life. So Jo, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's been good. I've been shopping. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's what we want. One of the things that I actually loved about what you shared was the fact that you didn't know what you were doing, but you did it anyway, and you just kept going. And that's one of the things that I love about the whole, anyone can do this. So, so that for me was a big kind of aha moment. But I want to go back before that and tell me what made you go down this path of going, maybe I can do this, or what is this I'm actually putting in or on my body? What was it for you?
Yeah, so we all started our family started living Additive Free in 2013. We have a little girl, and at the time she was just 3 years old, and her behaviour was pretty much out of control. She was super hyperactive, aggressive, she was hitting, we couldn't get her to stop biting, like we couldn't read her a story, she was just off with the fairies, and you know, she'd have these tantrums and they would just, they'd just go on forever, and you couldn't talk to her, you couldn't reason with her, like her whole little world was just out of control.
So it's a bit different to like a tantrum of like a 2-year-old tantrum type thing, 3-year-old tantrum.
Yeah, she'd have these tantrums and they would just go on for hours and hours and hours. She'd end up in a little ball on the floor, like she'd just rock back and forth sobbing, and then she'd put her little fingers on her face and she'd just start to scratch her face, and like we'd have to peel her fingers off her face, and I'd pick her up and she'd still be in this tightly clenched little ball, and you just have to sit there and bear hug her until she would calm down. Like, it was bad. It was really bad.
As a mum, that just, like, it's making me, I know that the good that comes out of this, but as a mum, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, it was awful.
How did you feel as a mum seeing your child in that?
Oh, I know. I mean, she was my first child as well, so I didn't have anything to compare it against. Although, in saying that, I did work in early years education, so I guess I had a lot to compare it to, and I just knew that she wasn't right. Like, I knew she was struggling. We were all stressed out and struggling. You know, it really did affect our whole family. I then had another baby, and you know, I just thought I'd throw one of them in the mix as well. And
so a new baby and a child that's not coping.
Yeah. But basically, I just stopped going anywhere. Like, I wouldn't take it to the supermarket. I'd wait for my husband to come home. You know, I cancelled play groups. I cancelled mainly music because it was just too much hassle to go. You know, I even stopped going to the park because she'd run off, and I've got a newborn baby, and then she's running off, and you know, it was just hard. And she was always sick as well, constantly sick with everything under the sun you could think of. She had chronic repeated tonsillitis. She actually had her tonsils out. She was only 20 months old. She was just a little baby. I look back now and think, oh my gosh. What else? Bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, you name it, she had it. She pretty much had it all.
You've got this child that is not coping, not well, and it seemed normal to you, right? Because that was like, isn't that kind of what everyone just goes, oh, it's just a normal thing, or you've got a child that just is like that?
Yeah, I kept getting told by friends, oh, she'll outgrow it, she's just going through the terrible 2s or the tremendous 3s, and I just knew from working in early years that just something wasn't right. And I remember my breaking point was, I remember sitting in my chair in my lounge room and I was crying, and I remember saying, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah. Like, I did not sign up for this. Like, this is just so hard. And anyway, I booked her in to get her tested for ADHD. As an early years educator, I thought that's what I would have told my parents at kindy to do. And you know,
that's a normal thing. That's what you expect is the issue, and you've got to deal with it.
Yeah. And also, you know, it helped that my husband, her dad, had ADHD, was medicated on Ritalin. You know, I was hearing from in-laws and different people that she's just like a father, and she is, trust me. But I just thought it was the thing that I needed to do to help her. I didn't want to do it, but I thought if that can help her and she can get some funding at school and special help, all that's going to help her, and it does. But I made this appointment, and it was funny, like I wasn't holistic back then at all. Like I was the furthest from being holistic you could think of. But I actually did find a quite holistic centre in Brisbane to get her tested, and there was a 5-month wait list. And
so you hit rock bottom, and then you've got to wait another 5 months.
I remember going, how am I going to get through the next 5 months? And so I made that appointment. I didn't want to go anywhere else, and then I got alerted to 3 little numbers, 102, and it was just in a passing comment, I don't really give that to my kids because it can be linked to behavioural issues. Just quickest comment like that. And she went on about whatever she was doing, and my ears pricked up, and I just thought, oh, that's a bit weird. Like,
changed your life,
what's
right?
that about? Yeah. And I just started Googling and decided I was pretty horrified with what I found and what I read, and I just thought, maybe this could be something to help Eva, and let's just go Additive Free and see if it can help.
So that pretty much changed your life, right? Like
completely
you now
changed our lives.
Talk to people about this, and that's what you educate your whole life.
Who would have thought I'd be doing this? I'm going to say what felt like overnight. It really did feel really quick. Like I noticed her calming down. She wasn't as hyperactive. She stopped biting. She stopped being so aggressive. She started sleeping, which then helped everything. She ate better. She stopped getting so sick. Like it just was so amazing that I just thought, this has changed her life so much. Maybe I can help someone else. And so I just started a little Facebook page.
That's so cool. And I love that. I love the inspiration that, and that kind of comes back to what you said at the start. I was just doing what I could. I didn't know if I was right.
I had no idea what I was doing. No idea what I was doing. Like, no clue. But I just thought, what's the worst that can happen? At the end of the day, like, if it can help her, as if I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. As a parent, you're looking for the thing that's going to work for you and your child, whatever that is. And there's lots of different paths that can take you down. And for me, my personal experience as a child, I used to be very similar, where I'd class myself as ADHD because I'd have those tendencies. But when I had the food, the way you talk about the food and how it used to affect your daughter, my parents went through that, and those many years ago, you couldn't get that information as well. And so my mum had to do a lot of, we're cutting out the food, and they found that blue and red and all that affected me, and I was terrible when that happened. So I love that you're going out there and sharing this with people, and it's not just about the food, it's actually about the lifestyle, the whole thing, because you then went down and started DIYing stuff because you thought that's too hippie, right?
Yeah, so I had all the food, but no one told me about toxic cleaning products. I mean, I knew they weren't. Like, I knew there was a warning label, keep them away from your kids, lock your toddler away from them. I knew all of that. I knew they were poisonous, but no one told me about that the fragrance in them can be an endocrine disrupting ingredient, or, how bad they are for our health. Like, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I used to domestos my shower and stand in the shower and let it all run down.
Yeah. I've done that too.
And I'd move my feet away from it running down the shower so it could go into the plug, and then I'd stand,
Yeah, well, it's not allowed to touch us, but it's okay to go in the environment. That's all right, because that's what we think
I used
it's
to
all okay.
domestos out the bath and then give the kids a bath.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd rinse it out, but...
And the way you say that is,
it.
I think that's a lot of what our society and most of the people that are trying to do good by their kids, they think they're doing the right thing. And in a lot of cases they are. They're doing the best with what they know.
Absolutely.
And I think it just takes that one step of being curious. What is this actually harming or helping me? What can we do? Is there something different? And I love the fact that you demonstrated today making, I think it was 3 or 4 DIY type things, as well as some amazing, the food was really good. Some DIY recipes, they took you 10 minutes because you were making them and talking. But this is stuff that has been around for...
ever. This is not a new thing.
No.
This is the thing. It is a new thing because we've been so conditioned over the last probably 50 years. So it's been a generational thing. But prior to that, prior to our parents' generation, this was normal.
You use bicarb and vinegar, and
it just changed in a generation somehow. And thankfully, a lot of it is coming back because more people like us are sharing this message. And when I say us, I mean us. And I think that it's brilliant. And something I said today was, it's just a perception that DIYing takes a lot of time. It's just a perception that it costs a lot of money, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, you can make a cleaning spray in about 30 seconds. And I have 2 cleaning products throughout my whole house now. I have like a scrub that I make, and I have a spray that I make. I don't need to waste hundreds of dollars on all the stuff at the supermarket that serves no purpose to my health or environment or well-being. And also, when I make it myself, I know exactly what's in there. And something I'm really passionate about as well is supporting small business. And when you are DIYing, you're generally buying those bulk bicarbs and those bulk Castile soaps from small businesses like yours. And I think that that is just so important. We really need to support each other in this world. Yeah,
I think that's a big thing too, because that's the whole thing that's happening, is that there's all these big companies that come out and tell us that we need to do things in a certain way, and we're kind of losing these small family kind of communities that you can create with what we're doing. So
I think it's okay to support the big guys as well if they're doing the right thing. Okay, like there's definitely companies that are making billions of dollars who are doing the right thing, and I certainly do buy things from them as well. I mean, I don't know if they're making billions of dollars. I have no idea if their financial situation, but a good example is Cut Out the Crap toilet paper. You know, that's a big corporation, but I'm going to get my toilet paper, my paper towel in bulk from them and support that company because they're doing amazing things in this world.
Yeah, and I think I love the message that you and your sister Tracy share, and I guess just a final thing for everyone is what is your suggestion to those, I'm going to say mums, because majority of people that go down this journey are mums. They're sitting at home, they might be watching this and going, oh yeah, it sounds a bit like me, or oh, I'm not that extreme. So they've got people who will go, oh, that's not my story. But, you know, there's things like asthma, there's things like behavioural problems, there's skin irritations, there's gut health, all that kind of stuff. They're sitting at home, they're hearing this story. How can you, just a tip for them on what they can do, maybe just the first step to start down this?
Oh, I know. I think that, again, it just comes down to being a perception. And I don't understand fear around this type of stuff. Like, I kind of don't get it, because what's the fear? Like, there is nothing to be fearful of. And I think that you just need to get your head around, it doesn't take a lot of time and it doesn't cost a lot of money. And I think that it's just, you know, if I can get harsh, it's just being a bit lazy buying stuff from the supermarket, and you're damaging your health in the process of doing that. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but you just don't need to be doing it. I promise, you don't. You just don't.
So I would suggest that you guys who watch this go and check out Additive Free Lifestyle, check out their Facebook page. There's heaps of information, their website, they run amazing courses, they've got a cookbook that is so cool. It's about cutting out your additives in your life that are not just, it's not just what you put in, it's also what you're putting on your body, what you're surrounding yourself with. It's a whole lifestyle, and you don't have to feel overwhelmed to do everything all at once.
I was about to say that. I was like, it's like gradual little steps, right? So use up what you've got if you want to. And then next time,
that like you did.
But do what you want. And then next time you need to replace something. So let's say your spray and wipe, for example, runs out. You're like, actually, I'm not going to buy this from the supermarket this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spray bottle from you guys. I'm going to get some white vinegar and water. I'm going to put the two together in a spray bottle and use some essential oils. And that's as simple as it is. It's just making those little swaps along the way, because I want to say, I'm still not perfect. There's still a few things that I use that I'm not prepared to get rid of. I know that they're not great, but
you're doing that with informed decision, though.
But I'm like, I know what's in it, and I don't use it all the time. But I don't want to be 100% perfect, because I find that is just too stressful as well. And I also want to be living in this, you know, day and age as well. So I think that you just do you. You just make those decisions and just gradually, you know, swap them out, and then you'll find that it's not overwhelming. It's easy.
Yeah, and when you succeed with one thing, you're like, maybe I'll be able to do this one, and it actually gets easier the braver you are and those steps that you take, because you're succeeding. And if you do something and it didn't work the right way first time, try it again. Don't give up. Keep trying a few times, and it'll come to you. And find people that support you. There's support groups around that will help you with going down this path. So
yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, you don't need a lot of stuff.
No.
Like if you look on your website, or even, you know, I went downstairs before and I had a look around. There's not a lot of things that you really, and you do sell a lot of stuff, but it's not in the DIY section that you sell a lot of stuff, because you just don't need a lot of stuff. You need some bicarb, Castile soap. They're your two main big ones, really.
Vinegar.
You need some white vinegar and distilled water, and you could make everything just with those 4 things. And then if you want to go into face serums and body creams, then you might need some, you know, different ingredients. But really, for cleaning, you just need those 4 things.
Yeah, so hopefully this is, like, I love what Jo and Tracy are doing and sharing their story to impact other people's lives. So go and learn from them. Actually go and listen to Jo's full story. It's like tear-jerking. But it's so worth hearing, so that you can understand from other people's journeys and maybe not have to go down that path yourself, and learn from what they've learned and they're willing to share with you. So thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing with everybody as well.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.